Testing, testing. 1, 2. 1, 2, switch. Huh? Oh, we're recording. Anyways, hey everybody, Joe here, and I'm going to be talking to you about my Nintendo Switch experience.
Yeah, so Joe used the Nintendo Switch. He went to the event in New York City, and I'm going to be asking him questions about everything you'll need to know about the Switch. So let's start off with the first question. Just what was the overall feel of the Joy-Cons? Like, did you use the Pro Controller?
Yes, I actually did get to use a Pro Controller. I did. Unfortunately, I didn't get to hold the Joy-Con sideways.
But how would you say like the feel of the controllers were? Like the Joy-Cons, motion, like everything like that.
They were a little smaller than I expected and I would have wanted, but I actually felt like I could get used to them. Like they were actually pretty okay. I felt like I could get comfortable using it.
Okay, what games did you play, and were there any games you're concerned about how the controls work just on the Joy-Cons?
So the 3 games I played were Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, and ARMS. I'll start with Splatoon. Splatoon felt perfect. Though, the shoot button, the back one, that was a little too sensitive. Like, if you let go just a little, it would, like, let go completely. Breath of the Wild, the Pro Controller felt really good, and the gamepad mode felt really good. And ARMS. ARMS felt really good with the holding it vertically, and the 2 bumpers were to dash and jump. I thought those, and the motion controls were used to punch. I thought those were really good to feel and use.
So do you think that the triggers are digital or physical?
Digital. By far digital.
Like it was just one click?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, the one-click thing is so sensitive.
I think on the GameCube, is it digital? I'm not sure. I think it's physical on the GameCube.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But with the Switch, it's really sensitive, and you just gotta be careful.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, what game do you think there was any frame issues on any games? Like Breath of the Wild, I'm sure everyone is worrying about the frame rate for that.
No. You don't really notice it because you're so, like, immersed in the game. You don't really notice the frame rate of it.
But do you think there was any frame rate dips?
No, I wouldn't say there was any. That much. It looked fine.
Do you think it looks better, graphically it looks better than the Wii U? Because there has been a lot of comparisons. We even did a comparison of it.
Yeah, I think the lighting's a lot better.
And also the colors look less washed out. It looks a lot more
vibrant. That's what I meant, actually, by lighting.
And I've heard that there are some areas where there are frame rate dips, but I heard it holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, you played ARMS, Splatoon 2, and Breath of the Wild, right?
Yes.
For Splatoon 2, did you think the controllers were overall just uncomfortable to use? Because I know some people had some troubles with it.
To me, it feels fine. The gamepad feels perfectly fine, but like I said, the triggers on the back are a little sensitive. I mean, what am I saying? A lot sensitive, but I just feel like you need to, just hold your finger on it. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, and the next question I have is for ARMS. Do you think the motion controls were better than the Wii's motion controls?
That's kind of a hard one because
think about it. The Wii technology is pretty old. It's from like 2006, I think. Yeah, 2006. But think about it, that's the entire concept of the console. The Switch has motion controls, but it's not really the concept of it.
I'm not quite sure because I mean, I guess Wii Boxing, but there wasn't really any kind of game like the like ARMS, yeah. But I don't know. I think I saw a little delay. Like, not even, like, I was, like, trying to notice if there was a delay. There's a little. Like, you wouldn't notice if you were focused on the game. So, it's good. They're fine. I don't know if they're better, though. I'll have to test them out.
Okay. And my next question is, what is the weight of the Switch? Like, was the weight of the Switch heavy? Was it light? Obviously, it's not going to be so heavy where you can't carry it, but is it heavier than the gamepad?
I guess it's probably about around, like, maybe a little heavier because it has a lot of stuff in it. But I can't really tell you the exact, like, weight because it was attached to a really heavy tether that, like, you can't really pull. And
anti-theft tethers.
Yeah, anti-theft tethers. And you couldn't really tell it that much. But it's fine. I wouldn't mind carrying around with the tether on. Like, that much weight.
And also, like, the Wii U gamepad, it wasn't the heaviest controller, but it's not.
It was bulky.
Yeah, it was very bulky,
Yeah.
but it's actually pretty comfortable. Especially if you haven't used it, you would be surprised how comfortable it is. Like eventually, like I've had a Wii U since 2013. I've gotten used to it. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't get as used to it, but I think the Switch will have like a more like I think it will be more easy to use because a lot of people are used to using tablets, and the Switch is a lot like a tablet.
Yeah, I agree.
And my next question is, do you think the Switch touchscreen, if you got to use it, like what do you think the touchscreen felt like?
I didn't actually get to touch it because there was no like games where you need to actually touch the screen.
But you've used it. You looked at the screen, right?
Yeah,
like,
I've looked at it.
So do you think the screen looks nice? Do you think it feels nice?
Yeah, I think it looks a lot nicer than the Wii U screen.
Yeah, because the colors look like washed
Yeah, and
out.
it's not like small. It's actually big and popped out, you know?
Yeah, and it has like a matte screen, right?
Yeah.
In 720p. A lot of people are complaining. They're saying, "Oh, why isn't it 1080p?" Because it's not really big enough where you can notice a huge difference, and also the battery life would just be bad. Like the battery life already isn't great, but to have it 1080p, you'd probably be looking at maybe an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours for Breath of the Wild. That's maybe that's like the maximum amount.
Yeah. I mean, be happy what you get. It's fine. I didn't notice any bad quality in it. It looks fine for a Nintendo game.
And also, you got to use the TV, right?
Yeah, I did.
Do you think it looked a lot better on the TV than it did on the screen?
It looked better. Like you could tell, it looked better, but just by a little bit. It didn't look a lot better.
Does it have any frame rate issues on the TV that aren't present on the Switch console?
I don't really know.
Because think about it, it does take more processing on the TV because it's a higher resolution. Like Breath of the Wild runs at 900p on the TV instead of 720p on the Switch console.
Yeah. With the TV mode, I didn't really realize any frame drop in that. And same with the gamepad mode. I don't really focus on that, and I didn't really see any. Well, that's only because like in Breath of the Wild, I barely got to do anything. I just walked around.
Oh yeah, you got footage of that, right?
Yeah, I did. I did get footage of it.
Okay, so yeah, there were. My next question is: games like Steep will play well on the Switch because I know you have it on the Xbox One. Do you think it will be as good as it is on the Xbox One, or do you think the controls will affect it if you're not using a Pro controller?
Yes, I do think the controls will affect it if you're not using a Pro controller because the Switch, I don't think it's not really meant for games like that. It's like not really meant for paced games. It's like that game had some pretty weird controls, anyways. But I don't know how they could do it with the Switch because it's.
But the Pro controller is.
Pro controller's fine.
Yeah, it's a lot like the Xbox controller.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about the handheld mode.
And also, do you think Super Mario Odyssey, even though you obviously haven't played it yet, do you think that will go well on it?
Yeah, that looks fine. Like any other Mario game.
No, like using the Joy-Cons.
Like separately or grip?
Both. And also, I didn't ask you that yet. Do you think using the Joy-Cons separately, like having them in each hand, is okay? Like, is it comfortable?
Yeah, when I played ARMS, they weren't heavy at all. They were pretty fine.
I heard they were actually a little more heavy than people thought, but still very light.
They were very light.
Yeah, because it does have a lot of tech packed into it, but again, it's so small where you probably won't even notice it.
It does not feel cheap, unlike the Wii U. That kind of felt a little cheap.
Yeah,
like
it looked
screen,
like
it looked.
I mean, I like the design of the Wii U console, but the gamepad looked a lot like a toy.
It did look like a toy.
Same with the Wii. Like since the Nintendo 64, their consoles have looked like toys.
Yeah, the GameCube is just like a box with a handle.
Yeah. So it was funny when they said the GameCube made it possible to bring games around. Like,
yeah. Like,
I think they were laughing during that because I mean really.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, what do you think of the graphics? Do you think the graphics are on par with PS4 and Xbox One? Do you think it's slightly under? Do you think it can compare?
It's under by. Not that badly, but
it runs Unreal Engine 4. Like Mario Odyssey's got to be right. It looks like it's running Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks fine. The graphics, I think they're fine for a Nintendo game. I mean,
are they better than the Wii U?
Well, everything looks better than the Wii U, so yeah, I'd say probably.
What games do you think would work well using the Joy-Cons, like the motion controls and just in general, like attached to the tablet screen, not tablet screen, but the Switch?
A lot of like games where you're like running around, like Mario or Breath of the Wild. Games like casual gaming where you're like, just on an adventure doing stuff. Like platformers would work well. Games like that. Side scrollers. Yeah.
Are any games that use the IR sensor, like rock paper scissors? Remember?
Yeah. Not any that I played, but once your Switch uses it, you like there's an eating contest thing in it where you put your mouth in front of it and you're like hop 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 and move.
I know. What about the other one? Like the utter
no,
nonsense.
that didn't use the sensor, but it used the motion. And ball count's cool because it uses HD Rumble, and HD Rumble's cool.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about HD Rumble. Did you really notice like a huge difference from, let's say, Rumble on the Wii U to Rumble on the HD Rumble on the Switch?
No, but I felt it in arms and it was cool. It felt good.
So do you think like it actually immerses you in the game and it would work well with VR?
Yes, I think it would actually work really well with VR because it's fun. It works good.
Okay, and I only have a few more questions left. This video is just for like the basic questions. And my next question is, do you think the game card slot was big? Like, was the game card slot bigger than the 3DS's?
I actually didn't get to see it, but I do know that the game cards are bigger than the 3DS, and the cart I didn't see.
Okay, and one of the last few questions is, do you think that the Switch, do you think that it's heavy so people won't, like, I know we talked about this before, but do you think it's heavy enough so people won't want to bring it with them, or that it's expensive enough where they won't want to bring it with them? Because you got to use it, so a lot of times you can tell, like, if people would want to bring it with them.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth to bring with you. Like, just, get a simple case for it and you'll be fine. It's not even that heavy. It'll be perfect to carry around with you anywhere you go.
And also, what about the screen size? I think it's like 6.2 inches. Is it around something?
7.
Around
It's 7.2.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think it was 7.2. It said.
What is the Wii U's like 8?
No.
Something around 8.
The screen?
The Wii U gamepad.
Oh, the gamepad. I don't know, but the screen was small.
The gamepad screen was huge.
No, it wasn't.
I know the gamepad's like for something that's it was pretty huge for like that's why it was so bulky.
Yeah, but the Switch is way bigger. Like you can tell, it's way bigger. It's like
I think but it is less bulky, so
yeah.
that definitely affects it. Like it's not bulky; it's pretty slim.
But like imagine the Wii U, but the whole Wii U is the screen. That's the Switch. That's the Switch.
Okay.
Not even including the Joy-Cons, but that's the Switch.
Okay, and is there anything you wanted to add before we end this video?
No, it's just that it felt really comfortable and I liked it.
Okay, so that's all the basic information you need to know about the Switch.